Have you ever felt like life is just a series of random, messy events that don't make any sense? Maybe you've dropped out of school, lost a job you loved, or felt completely lost while everyone else seemed to have it all figured out. We often think that success is a straight line, but the truth is usually much more painful. Imagine being fired from the very company you created. Imagine waking up knowing your days are numbered. Most people would crumble, but one man took those exact failures and turned them into the fuel that changed the world. He didn't just give a speech. He gave us a manual on how to live before we die. Today, we are going to decode the wisdom behind the most important words ever spoken to a graduating class. And by the end of this video, you will understand why your biggest setbacks might actually be the beginning of your greatest victory. To understand the power of this message, we have to go back to the start, not to the boardroom of a billion-dollar tech company, but to a young, confused college student. You see, Steve Jobs wasn't always the genius in the black turban. He was a working-class kid who felt guilty that his parents were spending their entire life savings on a college education that he didn't see the value in. So, he made a terrifying decision. He dropped out. Now, think about your own life. How many times have you been scared to quit something because you didn't know what would happen next? Steve didn't know either. But the moment he dropped out of the required classes, he could drop into the ones that actually interested him. He wandered into a calligraphy class. He learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about the spaces between letter combinations, and about what makes great typography great. At the time, this seemed completely useless. It had no practical application in his life. He was just following his curiosity. But 10 years later, when he was designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to him. He designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If he hadn't dropped out, he would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class. And personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do today. The lesson here is profound but simple. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. You have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. But trusting your gut doesn't mean you won't get hurt. In fact, sometimes, life hits you with a brick. By the time Steve was 30, he had grown Apple from a garage project into a $2 billion company. He was on top of the world, and then, devastatingly, he was fired. Imagine that, being publicly exiled from the empire you built. It was humiliating. He felt like he had dropped the baton. He thought about running away from Silicon Valley. But then, something slowly began to dawn on him. He still loved what he did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. He had been rejected, but he was still in love. So, he decided to start over. This is a feeling we can all relate to. The heartbreak of rejection. But Steve realized something that we often forget. He said that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to him. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed him to enter one of the most creative periods of his life. During this time, he started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become his wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story. And in a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, Steve returned to Apple, and the technology he developed at Next became the heart of Apple's current renaissance. It is a story of resilience. Sometimes life hits you hard, but don't lose faith. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for your work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. It is incredible to think about how timeless this wisdom is. Millions of people watch motivational videos every single day. But there is a reason why Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford commencement address stands alone in history. It isn't just a speech, it is a confession of humanity. When you watch other versions or listen to translations, like the one in Bangla by Nugar Bioscope, the emotion transcends language. But the core English message, the one that went viral globally, holds a specific vibration of truth. It reminds us that even the titans of industry bleed. They cry, and they fail. The reason that specific video title appears in search results and suggestion bars over and over again is that we are all looking for permission to fail. We are looking for proof that our current struggle is just a chapter, not the end of the book. And then comes the final, most haunting lesson. The lesson of death. Steve told the graduates that remembering he would be dead soon was the most important tool he ever encountered to help him make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. He faced a rare form of pancreatic cancer. He stared into the void, and he came back with a message for us. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma witches living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. As we close this chapter, I want you to look in the mirror today and ask yourself the question Steve asked himself every morning. If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? If the answer has been no for too many days in a row, you know you need to change something. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Never let the fire inside you burn out. If this message sparked a light in you today, please hit that like button so this video can reach others who are feeling lost. And for more content that fuels your soul and strengthens your vision, make sure to subscribe to our channel, DailyFire Mindset.